The first time Olivia Hartley stepped into the noisy auto shop, she wasn't expecting her life to change. She walked in wearing a tailored suit worth more than the monthly salary of most mechanics there. Her heels clicked sharply against the concrete floor, slicing through the hum of machinery and the smell of oil and steel. All she wanted was to show off in front of her colleagues, to prove a point, to feel powerful. But then she saw him. A young mechanic, his shirt smudged with grease, standing quietly beside a red sports car with its hood open. His eyes low, posture humble, as if the weight of the world hung from his shoulders. And it was in that moment that the most unexpected story began. Before we go deeper, if you believe in kindness, humility, and second chances, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Everyday Heroes. Your support helps us bring powerful true-to-life stories to the world. Olivia wasn't cruel by nature, but she had grown used to a world where appearances dictated worth. She and her two co-workers often joked among themselves about financial wisdom from people who couldn't afford wisdom. So when her friend nudged her and whispered, "Ask him for investment advice," she played along, never imagining the conversation would haunt her days later. The mechanic, Ethan, wiped his hands on a rag, unaware of their intentions. He looked tired, but not bitter. Worn down, but not broken. Olivia pointed at him, half laughing, and asked, "So, if someone like you had money to invest, what would you do?" The shop fell quiet. Her co-workers smirked, waiting for a joke, a retort, anything that would make Ethan look small. But Ethan didn't shrink. He looked up slowly, studying her carefully, not with anger but with an unshakable calmness. Then he spoke words Olivia never forgot. He told her that if he had money to invest, he would not put it into stocks, luxury cars, or real estate. He would invest in people, the only investment that never depreciated. He talked about how every person he had ever helped, even when he had nothing, somehow made his life richer. How people with money often forgot what true wealth was. How kindness multiplied faster than interest. And how one day, when everything material failed, relationships, compassion, and the lives touched along the way would be the only things left standing. Olivia's amused expression slowly faded. Something in Ethan's voice, steady, sincere, heartfelt, pierced straight through her polished exterior. He wasn't mocking her. He wasn't angry. He was simply telling her the truth. A truth he had lived through, suffered through, and learned from. Later that night, Olivia couldn't shake his words. They echoed inside her mind as she sat in her luxurious apartment overlooking the city. She had money, status, and everything she thought mattered. But her life felt painfully empty. Her parents barely spoke to her, her relationships ended before they began, and despite the glitter of her world, she felt more alone than anyone she knew. She realized that the mechanic she had teased, the men she thought she was superior to, seemed to possess something she lacked entirely, inner peace. The next morning, Olivia drove back to the shop, this time alone and without makeup or expensive accessories. Ethan was working quietly again, his hands covered in grease as he leaned over the car. She approached him nervously, unsure if he even remembered her. Of course he did, but he didn't make her feel embarrassed. Instead, he simply asked if she needed help. She apologized for the previous day, her voice trembling, and explained that she hadn't meant to hurt him. Ethan nodded gently. He told her that he had seen people like her his whole life, people who didn't realize how heavy their own burdens were because everyone assumed they had none. From that day forward, Olivia visited the shop more often. Not to belittle, not to pretend superiority, but to listen. Ethan's story unfolded gradually, in pieces shaped by hardship. He had once dreamed of becoming an engineer but dropped out of college when his father fell ill. He worked multiple jobs to pay medical bills, eventually losing his father anyway. His mother passed 2 years later, leaving him with responsibility he never asked for and a pain he never shared with anyone. But through all that loss, Ethan never allowed his heart to harden. He believed that a person's true wealth was measured not by their bank account, but by how they treated people they didn't have to impress. Olivia found herself drawn to his resilience. His simplicity. His honesty. Day by day, the emptiness she had carried for years began to loosen its grip. She started visiting shelters on weekends, donating quietly, and reconnecting with her mother. She began to realize that she didn't want to be admired, she wanted to be understood, appreciated, and remembered for something real. As weeks turned into months, she found herself confiding in Ethan more than anyone else. She told him about the pressure she felt at work, her fear of never being good enough, and the loneliness she had tried so hard to mask behind expensive things. Ethan listened, always without judgment. He gave advice that was simple yet profound. He encouraged her to take small steps toward the life she wanted, not the life others expected her to live. One afternoon, a sudden heavy rainstorm rolled through the city while Olivia was visiting the shop. Ethan insisted she stay inside until it passed. They sat beside the workbench, the sound of rain echoing through the metal walls, and Olivia felt something shift unmistakably inside her. She realized she was no longer looking at Ethan as the poor mechanic. She was looking at him as a man who had changed her heart without ever trying to. And then Ethan shared the truth he had never revealed before. He told her he had been saving every spare dollar he earned, for years, hoping to eventually open a small engineering workshop of his own, not to get rich, but to teach young people from low-income families the skills he had learned. He wanted to create opportunities he never had. Olivia stared at him, stunned. The man who barely made ends meet was dreaming of building a future for others. Her chest tightened with emotion. She knew she couldn't erase his struggles, but she desperately wanted to support him, genuinely this time. Not as charity. Not out of pity. But as someone who believed in him. She told him she wanted to help fund his workshop. Ethan refused at first, insisting he didn't want handouts. But Olivia reassured him that she wanted to be part of something meaningful, something that gave her life purpose. Together, they began planning. Slowly, carefully, with Ethan's vision leading the way. They found a small space on the edge of town, renovated it piece by piece, and created a workshop where young people could learn mechanical skills for free. Word spread, and within a year, dozens of teenagers who once believed they had no future were learning, growing, and building confidence under Ethan's quiet guidance. And Olivia. She found a kind of fulfillment she had never known. She discovered that helping others healed her in ways wealth never could. Her relationship with Ethan deepened naturally, built not on material things, but on shared purpose and genuine respect. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Everyday Heroes. Your engagement helps us continue sharing stories that inspire kindness and hope. Before we end, we'd love to hear from you. Comment below, what does true wealth mean to you? In the end, Olivia learned that one sincere voice from someone she once underestimated had the power to change everything. And Ethan, the poor mechanic, proved that sometimes the richest people are the ones the world overlooks, the ones whose hearts shine far brighter than anything money could ever buy.